Hey, and welcome to the Izi Chinchay show. I work with athletes almost constantly, right? Because either I'm coaching them online on how to get recruited or I'm coaching them in person. And I constantly remind them that discomfort is valuable. I am so pumped that you tuned in. My goal with the show is to inspire and motivate you to the best of my abilities. I believe our world needs more leaders, and I believe that you, my listener, are a leader, and that you have the opportunity to impact your community and family by simply being you. I truly am here to try and serve and offer value to your life. And if you enjoy the show, it would mean the most to me if you could please either rate, subscribe, or share the show with anyone who you think might benefit from listening. Together, we can make this world a better place. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you love today's episode. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about discomfort as a lifestyle and how and why having discomfort a part of your life is going to ultimately make you have a better life. And the truth is, I have had lots of phases in my life or parts of my day or parts of my week that are uncomfortable. And almost every single time it's been uncomfortable, I have gained. I have gained from that discomfort. And it is Albert Einstein who said, the only source of knowledge is experience, and you have to learn the rules of the game, and then you have to play it better than anyone else. And the thing about learning and experiencing is it's hard to learn new skills. And there's discomfort in learning new skills because you're starting from zero. You're starting from a place of, I don't know anything about this, now I have to learn. And our egos are so fragile, it can be really uncomfortable to learn new things. And if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, that is like the foundation of it. It's this constant process of having to learn new things and be uncomfortable because you don't know anything about new topics. Like there's always something new that you have to learn, and you're like, what? I thought I knew that. No, you don't. You didn't know that. And now you have to learn it, and it's uncomfortable. But every single time I have something come my way in business or in coaching or something that like I didn't know, it's uncomfortable at first. It's uncomfortable because anything that's not familiar to us is uncomfortable. Like, it's just how we work. We're like, it's not familiar, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it. But it's actually, like, it's so good for us. The discomfort is so, so good. Now, I work with athletes almost constantly, right? Because either I'm coaching them online on how to get recruited or I'm coaching them in person. And I constantly remind them that discomfort is valuable, and discomfort is what they need to get the result that they want. And if you are constantly comfortable, then you're not going to be growing, which is actually going to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, you're not going to feel good. It's weird. We talk about our comfort zone. We're not actually comfortable in our comfort zones. We're just like think we're safe. And it's our familiar zone. We're like familiar with this because we could be in our comfort zone by doing something that's actually really toxic to us. But we're like, well, my comfort zone is dating toxic people. So that's obviously not good for you, but it's your familiar zone. So when you start to realize like discomfort, not only is discomfort not bad, it's actually often good. And that comes to like different levels of that. Like, it's not always good, but a lot of the time it can be good. And for me, the easiest way to become uncomfortable every single day is to work out. And because it's uncomfortable, but it helps me and I feel better after it. And so last week I was coaching an athlete and she started running and working hard. It was hot and she started getting worked up and she's doing this. And she's getting into a frenzy. And I just said, pause. Can you put your hand on your heart for me? She said, yes. I said, all right, repeat after me. I am safe. I am okay. I will get through this. And And as I was telling her that, she started to melt away and she started to calm down. But I realized like that's helpful for me even. Like I have to remind myself, because we start to get worked up when we get uncomfortable. We start to get like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's happening? It's like, no, am I safe? Yes, I'm safe. Am I going to get through this? Yes, I'm going to get through this. But that doesn't mean I need to shut down. And what happens is a lot of people, and like I said, a lot, because I coach all the time. I see a lot of athletes, a lot of kids, they shut down as soon as they get uncomfortable, because they think that uncomfortable is bad, and uncomfortable is not bad. It's actually helpful. It's what we need. It's like I say this to my athletes all the time. Hard is not bad. It's just hard. And honestly, sometimes hard is really, really good, because hard is going to push you towards a reward. And you start to realize that every time something is hard, like you once you start shifting, like I literally get excited. I'm like, okay, this is hard. This is overwhelming, but man, this is going to make me a better person. And I'm going to learn so much. Like that's what, as I suffered from like so many injuries, but every single time I haven't had an injury, I have become a better human. I have learned so many lessons. I've become more patient, more disciplined, more focused, more diverse, more inspiring. Every single obstacle that I face has actually helped me. So I encourage you to like kind of look at your life and be like, whoa, am I living a little too comfortably? And like I say this all the time, but we live in a world where comfort and instant gratification is just like constantly thrown at us. And I'm not saying that you should live miserably by any means, but I think if you're constantly living like in a perfect world and everything's handed and you have everything, you're not going to be happy. You're just not, because humans, we actually love challenge. We love challenge, but we have shifted to the space of like our egos are now dominating. So we think that if we don't know it and we have to learn it, it makes us like a less of a person. And that's such a lie. It's like that study that was done on the rats, like the rats who had like just enough food and water in the cage, like they thrived. The ones who had excess and too much food and water, they ended up like deteriorating and like attacking each other because their life was too easy. And I'm not saying like, I love to live comfortably. I love to have the things. I love my AC, but I know that challenge is crucial and discomfort is also crucial pieces to my happiness. It is actually important for me to face discomfort in my day-to-day life for me to be happy. I'm not saying like abuse or like something bad like that. I'm saying even if it's like sauna, ice bath, whatever it is, learning something new. Again, learning a new skill is such a good way to get uncomfortable, because it humbles you and you have to say, I don't know anything about this. Can someone please help me? How do I figure this out? How do I YouTube it? How do I do this? How do I do that? Whatever it is. But I've seen too many people get away from discomfort and thinking that anything that's uncomfortable is bad and it needs to be shifted into not being uncomfortable. But I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to say, if you don't have discomfort, if you don't have challenge in your life, I don't think you're going to be happy. I think you're only going to be able to be so happy, because it's just how we're made. We're not made to have everything just handed to us. And we live in a society now where it's kind of that way, where it's kind of like, you're too hot, here's the AC. You're too cold, here's this. You want this, here's Amazon. It's on your doorstep. It's whatever. And I think it actually makes us feel kind of unhappy. And then we keep on thinking that we need more and more things. Like, oh, I need to buy that new thing. I need this like this. I need this. It's like, no, you actually probably just need to go get in the gym or try something new or try and start a business or try and coach someone. Like, if you do those things, you'll be like, okay, like starting a new job. How fun is it? Every time you start a new job, like I feel like there's always an excitement, because you're like, oh, I'm going to have to learn these new things and it's going to be like a challenge. And then we get in a rut because it gets easy. And I'm not learning. But a lot of the time, like the discomfort and learning a new skill actually go together. I don't know what this was with my hands, but here we are. But I think that they can actually go together. And like I've mentioned, I'm a coach, but every time that uncomfortable feeling comes up and you start feeling that resistance. Like I just had this come up for me around tech. Like tech is something that I shut down bad over tech. I'm like, I have no idea how this is working. I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. Let me just call Mitchell. He'll take care of it for me. Let me call Maggie. Like, Maggie's one of my best friends. Or Mitchell. I'll just have them come and do it for me. I've done that for a long time. And I realized, like, I'm actually creating a lot of distrust in myself because I'm not trusting myself to be able to figure out this problem. Like, I'll just bring someone else because it's too uncomfortable for me to try and sit there and figure out and learn how to do it. And I was like, I was like right in the mirror there. It was like 3 days ago I realized that. I was like, wow, okay. Every time that uncomfortable feeling comes up, and sometimes it's even in conversations. Like when I first started dating my husband, I was so afraid to tell him like things about my life and just like my past, and like I was scared to be vulnerable. And every time that feeling came up that I wanted to shut down, it was uncomfortable, I didn't want to go there, I literally would give myself like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in my head, and then I would say whatever it was. So once that resistance comes up, that uncomfortable feeling comes up, lean into it, take it, do it. And it's so similar to working out. Like right when you start to feel the burn, whatever you're working out, I was touching my quads because I'm like, that's where I really know where I feel the burn. Right when you feel the burn, that's exactly when you're supposed to go all in. And that is exactly where so many people retract and go, okay, that was too uncomfortable. I can't do it. But that's like on the other side of that discomfort, that hard work is the reward. It's the reward. It's right there. And we have to push to get that reward. And that's why, like, once you start changing it, it turns into a game. You're like, oh, yes, if I feel that pain, I get this reward. Like, specifically in the gym. Like, I know, I'm like, okay, if I'm really feeling it, I push out a couple more reps, I'm going to be feeling ripped tomorrow. I'm going to be feeling jacked tomorrow. In a couple weeks, like, that muscle tore, it's going to get bigger. And that same with, like, our brains and our hearts and our minds. Like, we lean into those uncomfortable, vulnerable conversations with people. It's really, really hard, but then it becomes a little bit easier. And there's a reward because you bonded with someone in a way that you haven't bonded because you didn't retract and go, I'm scared to tell them how I really feel. I'm scared. You leaned into it. You leaned in. For those of you listening, I'm like leaning into the camera right now. You leaned into it, and then you got the reward. And so every time that discomfort comes up, please lean into it. Like when you're in the sauna, and it's like, oh, that is so hot. I want to get out. I feel kind of like I'm suffocating. Lean in. Stay a little longer. Push a little bit longer. When you're on the run and you want to stop and walk, just push a little bit more, a little bit further. Right? When you when you don't want to do that thing, just push in. When you don't want to learn that new thing, when it's tech, when it's posting a thing on social media, it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable for us to be vulnerable and actually post like our lives. Like we're like, I need it to look a certain way. No, lean in, post it, do it. Make discomfort a habit and you'll become happier. I promise. Like I swear, I am not happy if I am not feeling some sort of discomfort and pushing through and getting to the other side. I'm not talking about abusing yourself and doing things that you shouldn't be doing. No, but I'm saying doing those things that are uncomfortable because you know that there's a reward on the other side. Like you know you need to go to the gym. You know you need to work out. You know you need to get outside in the morning. You know you need to go for the walk. You know you need to drink water before you drink coffee in the morning. Do those things, right? If you're an athlete, you're on the field. Don't let up just because your legs are burning, your lungs are on fire, you feel like you're going to pass. No, keep going. That's part of it. The reward is on the other side of discomfort. The reward is on the other side of all the resistance, of all the like, that's a little too hard. That's just a little too much. And then we just boom. And then we don't move up because we're like, I just kind of go like right here with my comfort. I'm not really getting over it. I'm not really pushing. I'm not really getting the results. You have to do that. You have to make discomfort a part of your life. Like every single thing. Like I realized like even in my business, with my recruitment, with everything, like I was playing small. I'm like, I can't play small. But it felt more comfortable to play small. To have a lower price, to downsell, to whatever. It felt more comfortable. It's harder to push to think bigger, to have these bigger dreams, these bigger goals, to set these higher standards. But the bigger reward is on the other side of that, right? The harder the challenge, the greater the reward is on the other side. And all those rewards are waiting for you, whether it's in your relationships, your fitness, your business, your work, your job, your kid, whatever it is. Discomfort is exactly what you need to get to the next level. And that's why like top tier people, there aren't that many. They're on the top tier for a reason, because they're constantly leveling up. They're constantly taking on more challenge. They're constantly leaning into the discomfort and getting to the next level. And their threshold is getting higher of what they can endure, what they can face. But if you never push and you just kind of like touch the uncomfortable, like, I got a little bit. It was kind of hard. Like that, you'll never get to like the top level. And especially as my athletes, like you'll never go further. You never will. If you're like, well, I did what everyone else did. It was like hard. Yeah, but did you put in the extra work? Did you show up early? Did you stay late? Were you an asset? And we have these opportunities in our lives all over the place. All over the place. We have opportunity to lean in to the discomfort. You know what's very uncomfortable for me? Starting a podcast was very uncomfortable for me. Being on a camera. You know what felt easier? Not being on a camera. Just talking behind the mic. Not having to look at a camera and not being able to just look at my notes as I talk. That felt way easier. But I wanted to push. I wanted to be like, no, I'm going to do both. I'm going to record and I'm going to look at the camera, because that is the hardest thing for me. That's where my discomfort is. I'm going to push and I got to keep pushing. I'm like, the next thing is talking on stage. I got to get on a stage and I got to start speaking, because that's so uncomfortable. That feels so uncomfortable. But that's the challenge that I need. And we need challenge. We need discomfort, okay? So please remember this. Hard is not bad. It's just hard, and you actually need the hard to get the reward that you want. Because the reward, the goal, the outcome that you want is in the very thing that you're avoiding. Like the body that you want is in the work that you're avoiding in the gym, or the discipline that you're avoiding in the kitchen. And the financial goal is in the work you're avoiding in starting your business. And the athletic goal, like it's all in the work. Every single thing that we want is deeply rooted in the actions that we avoid, because they are hard, they are uncomfortable, and they don't come quickly. That's where they lie. That is where they lie. Everything that you want. It's all in that hard. It's in that work. It's in that consistency. And so you have to start to realize that, like, oh, wait, it's challenging. It's hard. Heck yes. Heck yes. It's challenging. It's hard. That means I'm going to like level up. I'm going to become such a better person. I'm going to have such a deeper capacity to connect, endure, inspire, love, motivate, get stronger, like all the things. So start looking for that challenge and seek that challenge. And I am not saying to self-sabotage and create cycles of no, not that. I'm saying seek challenges that are going to get you to the next level. Seek discomfort that's going to make you a better human and help you make better humans around and influence and impact. Because we start doing that, we're going to start having some impact. We're going to start changing the world. So that's all I have for you. Go do something uncomfortable today and start making uncomfortable a part of your lifestyle. That discomfort is exactly what we need to move forward. I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could share this episode with 5 people you think could benefit from the show. Also, please feel free to connect with me on Instagram at Izi Chinchay or my website at izichinchay.com. Thank you so much for being you. Keep being a leader and making this world a better place.